Our political reporting team is focusing on candidates running for offices right here in New Mexico. And tonight, Chris Ramirez is helping you get to know Republican U.S. Senate candidate Mark Ronchetti a whole lot better.
When you cast your vote, part of your decision-making centers around value systems. Does your own value system match up with the value system of the candidates who you're choosing? Of course, political ideology and policy proposals are all really important matters, and we have debates and we have more interviews with candidates lined up to continue to dig into all of that. But we also thought it was important to dig into those value systems. And tonight, we are going to talk to Mark Ronchetti, the Republican candidate for the open U.S. Senate seat. On a warm Sunday morning, this path that you guys dog walk a lot on?
Yep, we do all the time. This is so this is up about 10,700 feet.
Mark Ronchetti and his family invited my dog Lexi and I to join them for a hike.
Especially early in the morning. If you come through here, there are elk that just set up over here.
These trails are near Angel Fire Resort and minutes away from Ronchetti's second home, a cabin on top of the mountain. We set up on his deck to chat. Thank you for inviting us on that dog walk. Do you do that often?
We do it all the time when we're up here. We just take them out and go with the girls and Krysty and I and the dogs, and it's a great spot.
Most people know you as like a guy who's always like in a suit and tie, but the connection that you have with like the mountains and the trees up here, I think is something that a lot of people don't know about you.
Well, you know, it's part of this gets back to what my job was, which is nothing is more exciting than mountain weather. It's the greatest because it's intense, it's fast, and the visuals are incredible. So that's where I first started this. And I've always felt like being in the mountains is the place I'm closest to God too. I've always felt that sense here.
That jump from popular weatherman to political candidate took a lot of New Mexicans by surprise.
Most people say, you know, you're right, I didn't know you had political beliefs. Well, it's my job to make sure that you don't know that when you're doing the weather. I don't slip in, by the way, we need to make sure that we, you know, get our spending under control, or we need to protect Medicaid. You know, I'm like, I can't do that in the middle of a weather forecast. But I will say, I've always had an interest, not necessarily in politics. I didn't get into this for politics. I got into it because I'm sick of politics.
When you have like these like days where you feel like spun up, or days where you're like super stressed out, like how do you ground yourself? How do you center yourself?
I pray. I pray. I read the Bible every day. I write out a verse. I write out how it affects my life, what I can do moving forward, and then a prayer. And I think to me, I try to stay grounded in God because that's why I did this.
It's that faith and personal experiences that have shaped what he believes are important issues in this race. A lot of what you've been talking about on the campaign trail has centered around crime and your frustration for crime. And I read just recently something that you wrote, your own personal experience about a home invasion.
It was. I remember I was at Channel 13, it was 2011, and Krysty called me. It was about, you know how this goes, about 9:45. We're about to go on the 10 o'clock show. She is sobbing. I can barely understand what she's saying. She's in the closet of our master bedroom with our two girls, a gun pointed at the door, because there's someone downstairs walking around in our house.
There's nothing more important to you than your family. In those moments, like, how do you even think straight?
You don't. So I was speeding home, just praying. I was praying the whole time I'm driving home. God, please, you know, don't let this be what it could be. And then as I got home and the police were there and Krysty was there and I hugged her and I hugged the girls, it's indescribable. But it also drove home one point, and that was that Krysty was there protecting our family. Yeah. And so she goes to bat for this family every single day. And I know how many mothers across New Mexico are the same way. They go to bat. And so we need to go to bat for them.
You're not from New Mexico. How did you, or when did you realize that this was a place that you see as home?
I think I came here in 1998, and the thing that was amazing about New Mexico is the people and the culture. And you come here and it's like nothing I'd ever seen. And so year after year, I was like, I loved it and I enjoyed it. But it's something that it grows in you, like New Mexico grows in who you are. And so I chose this state. There's no question about it. You know, you can't, you have no say in where you're born, but you have a say in where you choose to live and raise your family. And I chose here.
It was last January when Ronchetti announced that he would leave his decades-long career in television news for a run and a career in politics. Now, last week, we sat down with his Democratic opponent, Ben Ray Lujan, to chat over some homemade enchiladas. You can now catch both interviews with Lujan and Ronchetti anytime on KOB.com. Chris Ramirez, KOB4.